Hello everyone. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from International School of Business Management at Suresh Gyan Vihar University, Jaipur. We will be continuing our session of Indian business houses today. We have already studied as to what is a business environment and what are the impacts of different elements of the business environment on the business. In the next sessions of the same unit, we had covered some theories of corporate governance, wherein we studied as to how an organization governs and governs its entire activities, so that not only does the organization profit from its activities, but also the society at a large gets benefited. After that, we studied the topic of corporate social responsibility, wherein we studied what are the different activities which an organization conducts so that it can actually benefit from the benefit the society at a large. Post that, we studied the business ethics, wherein we understood what are the different codes of conduct that an organization should follow, what are the different normative structures an organization should follow, and make its employees follow them as well, because they are the ones which are actually the guiding principles which modify the behavior of each and every employee of the organization as well as the top management of the organization. One learns and one understands the value of giving value to the human life, its human resources. One also understands as to what is the importance of ethical behavior towards the society, and every organization that is following good codes of conduct, a good ethical behavior, is sure to succeed in future. So with this, we have understood a lot about what is the impact of business environment of an organization, how it supports an organization to grow and groom, and what are the different factors which are actually the supporting elements for the development of an corporate house or development of an Indian business house in the Indian society, how government has supported it. So, we have studied a lot about it, and then it was the time to understand as to what are the duties of the organization towards the society, right? So that is why, then we studied what is corporate governance, what are business ethics, what are the different activities of corporate social responsibility that an organization should carry out so that it can work in the best interest of the society and it can pay back to the society. We understood that both the organizations which are running in a particular nation or in a particular society as well as the society are interrelated to each other and they totally depend upon each other. So in today's session, we will take this session to a further level, to an advanced level, and now we will study some real life applications of these concepts that we have studied in the previous sessions. The learning objectives of today's session are to be able to imply the concepts of this unit to real life situations through case study methodology. And after this session, you will have a hands-on experience on the cases that we will be taking up today. Of course, there are some mini case studies due to time constraints. We are not able to carry out some larger ones, but I surely promise to take up some huge case studies also in further sessions. But for starters, I'm just taking some small case studies. So this is actually the second session of case studies that I'm taking for Indian business houses. So without wasting any further time, let us discuss our first case in hand, which is about the corporate social responsibility at Bank of India. So at Bank of, this case represents that at Bank of India, corporate social responsibility is basically the care and concern for the deprived people of the society in particular, and of course in the community at a large. So, social responsibility is believed to be a function at the banking industry whereby the banks actually focus on those who are below the poverty line and the communities that qualify for schematic lending under the various government sponsored programs. So the focus of the CSR activities of these banks is basically on ensuring that they become absolutely self-sufficient and they can achieve the desired goals to improve their living standards also. The bank has a policy of recruiting the blind and the disabled people, and also has a committee to monitor and prevent any kind of sexual harassment at the workplace. So employees also of this bank have volunteered for the support of the NGOs for some noble causes like eye donation camps, blood donation camps and all. And actually these CSR activities have always been a close part of Bank of India, and we have seen that they have been doing some real good efforts because their members of their banks keep volunteering for different NGOs in support of different NGOs. They have a limited fund which is kept separate for supporting these types of NGOs, and they make sure that this fund gets dissipated and utilized properly. They also take reports from the NGOs at the end to find out whether the fund was invested for the benefit of these people who are deprived in the society properly or not. Secondly, this employing the people who are specially abled or disabled, or sometimes those who are the disadvantaged members of the society, is one of the very noble corporate social activities that Bank of India is carrying out. Similarly, the concern for the human resource which is working with them, especially by showing a lot of concern towards the female workers of the bank, trying to monitor any kind of harassment, sexual harassment of the female workers of the bank, harassment of any other male or female genders in within the bank by the senior officials and sometimes by the colleagues who are working at the same level. There are committees which keep monitoring this, and there are women protection cells in these types of banks wherein females can file complaints against them and proper actions, legal actions are taken against the people who are committing such types of offenses, and justice is given to the victims. In this case study, it is also presented that the top management not only involves in such a cause but also actively supports it, which means that the top management is also concerned about whatever CSR activities are taking place in the bank, and how they are conducted, whether they are achieving the desired results or not. So there are certain well-known NGOs who have been on the scene for quite a number of years, and these NGOs are doing services to the community over the years, and they are supporting different types of causes, like some NGOs support the orphans. They are running orphanages. Some are supporting the cancer patients, some are supporting the mentally disabled people, and there are multiple some such organizations which are working for different causes in the society. So their programs are monitored by the zonal officers of Bank of India, which are spread over 43 zones, and they ensure that the end of the funds are donated to the NGOs properly and are utilized properly by the NGOs also, that they don't end up into some wrong hands which are not interested in actually dissipating them to the poor and needy people of the society. Now, this relationship that Bank of India has with some of the NGOs is actually on a continuous basis. Like they have a good relationship with the Cancer Foundation of India, and this bank is. They say this case study says that this bank is truly Bank of India, akin to its name. As the name indicates, that it is Bank of India, so it has branches over 2,600 in number, and they have around 43 zonal offices, and it has a good representation both in the metros, urban as well as rural sectors of the country. So it is therefore, natural that corporate social responsibility should spread across the state borders and is not limited to where the bank is headquartered. Now, it also speaks about the business ethics and governance, which are considered to be separate issues in this case study. They say that the money contributed towards the CSR activities are monitored by the concerned zonal officers, and the NGOs are asked to submit the receipts and photographs also justifying the end use of the funds, so that no malpractices are carried out, because they are huge funds, and if they reach wrong hands, they might not reach the ones who are actually needing them, or to ones they were actually directed towards. So in this case, employees have been contributing a lot. Whenever there has been a major disaster, by donating a day's wage, employees have contributed that, okay, fine, all the employees of Bank of India, they decide that we are going to donate our 1 day wage to maybe tsunami victims, or maybe the victims of some earthquake, or maybe the victims of COVID today. So these types of good CSR activities are carried out by Bank of India also. So, which means that the employees are, so morally motivated in this bank, that they have been constantly contributing to the social causes and the well-being of the society. And then, this, in fact, they contribute so heavily that it works out to a few million rupees. Their employees are also involved in systematic monitoring of the activities for which the funds have been donated. The objective is basically to ensure that there is total involvement of both the management and the employees, while the mission would be to succeed in making life better for the poorest of the poor and the downtrodden. So it also speaks about the fact that as a part of its centenary celebrations, the Bank of India had adopted 101 villages. So, whenever a bank or any organization adopts a village, and this brings me to, just share a fact with you, that as I always tell you at the start of my session, that I am associated as an associate professor at Suresh Gyanvyar University, which is located in the capital of Rajasthan, Jaipur, and it is a beautiful university with around 50 acres of sprawling campus, lush green campus, I must say, with beautiful infrastructure. Lots of good doctorate faculties are here. A lot of work keeps going on. But even Gyanvyar University is especially concerned about its corporate social responsibility. And even Gyanvyar University has adopted a village, Kacholia, where they are carrying out multiple vocational training programs, The agriculture department of Ganyar University is providing lot of agriculture know-hows to the farmers of that village, and the students of this university go there as volunteers for teaching the kids of that village, and a lot of development programs are being conducted by this university in Kacholia village, which is near Jaipur. So even Bank of India, of course, Bank of India is a far bigger organization, and the revenues are in multiple crores. So they have adopted 101 villages, and employees too are very considerate here when it comes to serving a social cause, and the officers association and the unions have been organizing lots and lots of social activities, corporate social activities, like the blood donation camps, adoption of villages, free cancer detection camps, and all these things. So I have actually compiled this case study from the report of Economic Times. It is a January 18, 2006 report of Economic Times. So it is an old one, but still a beneficial case study for you people to go through and understand. So let us move ahead with our case study. And here are some questions that I want to pose on you. Uh, and on the basis of the case in discussion, you have to answer the following questions. Though I will be discussing the answers on my part also, but you are most welcome to leave your answers in the comment box, and I will be happy to review them and revert back to you people over those answers that you will be giving. So here are my questions. On the basis of the case in discussion, you have to answer these questions. The first question is, explain the corporate social responsibility of a bank. Second question is, what should be the focus of a bank as far as its CSR is concerned? And the third question is, discuss a few CSR activities in which the banks get involved. So let's try to discuss the answers briefly one by one. As a answer to the first question, my first question was, explain the CSR of a bank. So, the social responsibility or the corporate social responsibility is basically a function of banking industry, where the banks focus on those who are below the poverty line, or any kind of disadvantaged section or members of the society who need maybe monetary support, and some kind of medical support, some kind of amenities, some kind of educational facilities. So banks in India are these days, as a part of their corporate social responsibility, dissipating a lot of funds. They are also in close tie-ups with some NGOs, and through those NGOs, they keep doing multiple CSR activities for the upliftment of the society, for the betterment of those who are in need, and who are disadvantaged. They also give jobs to some people who are physically disabled. So these are a few, corporate social responsibility acts that banks are conducting. Now, the second question was, what should be the focus of a bank as far as its CSR is concerned? The case study clearly mentions here that the focus should be on ensuring that they become self-sufficient and can achieve the desired goals to improve the living standards. The bank should also have a policy of recruiting blind people, disabled people. They should also, carry out corporate governance in such a good manner that their human resources also feel cared of and cherished by the organization. Every employee should have a sense of being taken care of by the organization. Only then can you actually expect your employee to be totally faithful to you, to be totally sincere towards you. Unless you give that feeling of belonging. This also generates the feeling of belongingness in your employee, if you are showing that you are concerned about your employee. And that is why banks should organize constantly, monitoring committees should be appointed, who monitored how the human resources are functioning, what kind of corporate governance is going on. If there is any case of sexual harassment, there should be women protection committees also in the organization, which should come forward to solve the problems of the women who are facing any kind of harassment in the organization. And similarly, the bank should motivate their employees so well. Their focus should be on motivating their employees so well that they follow good codes of conduct. They are following ethical behavior, ethical code of conduct in the bank. And of course, as far as the CSRs are concerned, the employees should volunteer to support the NGOs, or maybe participate in any kind of social activities which are carried out by the banks. Now, my third question to you people was to discuss a few CSR activities in Bank of India. So here is my answer. You can pose your own answers. You can include the relevant examples of other banks also while answering, and I'll be happy to evaluate your answers. Please leave your answers in the comment boxes. So CSR activities in which banks get involved. The bank has a policy of recruiting disabled people. This is the first and the most important thing that they are doing for their HR. They are also having committees who monitor and prevent sexual harassment of the employees at the workplace. And the employees are contributing towards the betterment of the society by participating and volunteering in activities of the NGOs. Sometimes, they give their part of salaries also to those who are stricken by any kind of calamities. So, as a part of its centenary celebrations, Bank of India had adopted 101 villages of the country, and they constantly keep carrying out blood donation drives, adoption of villages, cancer detection camps, and other such camps, which are very supportive for the society as a whole. So with this, I think we have answered all the 3 questions of this case study that I had posed. And now we shall move ahead towards the second case study that I have for you people in this session. We will be conducting only 2 case studies. One we have done, and now we are starting with the second case study. So the second case that I am putting forward is Bharat Petroleum and the social responsibility of Bharat Petroleum. So this is another very interesting case study. I wish that all of you go through it with a greater deal of attention. It talks about, do we reach out to the people? Are our efforts, they are asking few questions at the start of the case study. Are our efforts visible in the far-flung villages in backward areas of the country? Bharat Petroleum believes that the answer to these questions is yes. Bharat Petroleum energizes the lives of Indians in one way or the other. The corporation has invested heavily in staff, customers, stakeholders, and society. And they say that this is because they care. So they say, this case study says that the essence of corporate social responsibility is the continuing commitment by the business to behave ethically and contribute to the economic development while improving the quality of life of workforce, their families, as well as the society at a large. Further, in this case study, it has been mentioned that any business needs a stable social environment that provides a predictable climate for investment and trade. At the same time, the society also has expectations from the business. In this manner, business and society are interdependent, and business must take full account of the societal expectations. Increasing regulatory pressures could be one of the reasons for undertaking the CSR activities. However, in this day and age, CSR is increasingly being viewed right only as making good business sense, but also as contributing to long-term prosperity of the companies and ultimately their survival. This case says that the challenge for the successful company in India and global economy is to build and maintain efficient, effective, and fair relationship with its global as well as local stakeholders. Absolutely right. This is one of the most important lines of this case study, that the challenge for successful company is to build and maintain efficient, effective, and fair relationships. Further, this case study says that an increased brand value, greater access to finance, stronger risk management and corporate governance, healthier and safer workplace, motivated people, customer loyalty, and enhanced confidence and trust are the key benefits of excellent CSR. So it has also given you that what are the benefits of CSR for any organization. Let's see what this case study talks about ahead. It says that as corporates grow in strength in the in rapidly globalizing environment, their contribution to the development of the society becomes increasingly pertinent. The emergence of CSR has been critical for millions of people left below the poverty line. Now it says that Bharat Petroleum receives complete support and direction from the board of directors for its CSR activities, with Director HR at the helm of affairs. DM Reddy, the executive director, states corporate social responsibility is one of the prime focus areas of a corporation. The whole approach towards contributing to society is very scientific and well thought of. Now, this case study emphasizes further that in all such endeavors, the benefits should trickle down to as many people as possible. A corporation should look forward to long-term relation with the community whose life it touches. Through community development initiatives, corporations can strive to evolve community holistically in all spheres, like health, education, infrastructure, income generation, vocational guidance, etc. And having contributed towards a society after assessing the needs, a corporate can ensure a proper feedback system to realize the impact of its contribution. So based on the studies, it can review its approach and implement new strategies. Now, further, this case study talks about the social service activities which were undertaken by Bharat Petroleum. The first social service activity that it talks about is infrastructure development. So it says that provision of tube wells, bore wells, dug wells for drinking water and irrigation, construction of multi-purpose community center to accommodate school for non-formal education, Balwadi, which is the primary education, health center, community center, construction of sanitation block to promote hygiene, provision of alternate sources of energy, solar energy based street lights, and lighting for village and community center. These are some of the infrastructure development activities which have been conducted by Bharat Petroleum. Then it talks about education, wherein support provision of uniforms, notebooks, stationeries, teaching materials, educational aids, sweater and food supplements, educational scholarships to children from the economically backward classes for pursuing their studies till complete their education, aptitude testing, vocational guidance for higher secondary children through experienced psychologists. All these activities are also conducted by Bharat Petroleum. Further, it speaks about some more facilities which are provided by Bharat Petroleum, like healthcare, wherein they are carrying out regular health checkups for villagers by doctors, provision of free medicines for minor ailments, guidance on family welfare and general health care, free medical dispensaries, cataract surgeries, and intraocular lens treatments. Skill enhancement is also carried out by Bharat Petroleum in case of adult education, modern farming practices, training on income generation, vocations, etc. etc. So now here are some questions that I want to pose on you based on the case study that we have just presented to you. My first question is, what is the essence of CSR? Second question is, what is the relation between business and the society? My third question is, what are the benefits of CSR for an organization? And the fourth question is, list out the social service activities undertaken by Bharat Petroleum and comment on them as to how they benefit the society and the organization. So let's first talk about the essence of CSR. CSR activities are basically, carried out by an organization to not only, commit itself to ethically contribute to the society for the upliftment of society and sometimes for giving a better quality of life to your own employees, the families of the employees, and the society at a large. But also these CSR activities are one way through which the organization can build up a good reputation in a society. Once the people start believing in an organization, for example, in Tatas, Indians believe in the Tatas. And the key reason behind it is Ratan Tata has been one of the biggest contributor and donor at the time of COVID-19. They had opened the gates of Taj Hotel for the healthcare workers. They were called as health warriors for us, and he had opened the doors of his hotels, his luxury hotels, for them because they could not go back home because they could be carrying the virus to their families and it would have led to further spread of the disease. So he opened his hotels for them, and he has been one of the major donors in COVID-19. And this is not today. It has been happening ever since the times of Jamshedji Tata. Jamshedji Narsar Tata had also worked for the eradication of smallpox, and they supported India on the request of WHO to work in the field of eradication of smallpox. And within 1.5 years, India was declared free of smallpox. So what this leads to is that people start believing in your organization. They start believing that this organization is working for us, it's working for the benefit of the society, and this creates a good brand value and a good brand reputation of that organization in the entire country at a large. So this is what is the essence of CSR. Further answering the next question was, what is the relation between business and society? So let's try to find the answer to the next question. Sorry. So yes, the answer to the next question is that the relation between business and a society. I had already mentioned it to you at the start of the session itself that the business and a society are always interdependent on each other, because business needs a stable social environment that can provide a predictable climate for investment as well as for trade purposes. So, what is the society doing? The society is providing that social structure to an organization to function in that particular area and region. The society is providing the organization with the resources that it requires. The society is the one which is supplying the workforce towards the organization, which actually creates the organization, right? So obviously, in turn, now it is the duty of the business to do something in the betterment of the society, to create employment opportunities for the society, to support the weaker sections of the society, to give employment to the weaker sections of the society. In some cases, like that of Bank of India, it was mentioned in the case study that some organizations are also giving jobs to the disabled people so that they can also earn their livelihood. So that is why business in turn has to support the deprived and disadvantaged, and also to contribute positively to enhance the economic conditions of the nation. Because when a organization will contribute in the development of economic conditions of the nation, in turn the GDP will also rise. If the GDP will rise, people will have a better purchasing power in their hands, and only then can they actually afford to purchase the products of that organization, or maybe take the services of that organization. So it is like a give and take relationship that an organization and the society have with each other. So I think we have now answered almost all the questions of the second case study also. I also had a third one in my hand, but maybe we will discuss it in the next session of Indian Business Houses. Meanwhile, I would just like to tell you that we have covered almost all the topics of the second unit of Indian Business Houses as well. And we have now come to an end of the second unit. And after this, we will be starting with the third unit of Indian Business Houses after this session. So I really hope that you people have enjoyed viewing this session of case studies, and this session must have increased your quest to solve more and more case studies. For those who are actually interested in solving some more case studies on these topics that we have covered so far in Indian Business Houses, you are most welcome to leave your comments in the comment box, and I will definitely share my study material and the case studies that we have developed here at the Case Study Development Center of Suresh Gyanvyar University International School of Business Management. So we will be sharing those case studies with you people for the benefit of the learners who wish to learn from these sessions of Indian Business Houses. And that is all from my side for today. This is Dr. Swati Mishra from Suresh Gyanvyar University signing on. Thank you so much for attending these sessions. I really hope that you are truly benefiting from these sessions, and I hope that you will benefit more from the further sessions of Indian Business Houses that I will be taking. Thank you. Have a nice day.